I'm Sharon, this is Courtney, and today we do have a spicy little number for you. I mean, when don't we have a spicy little number? But today in particular, we are going to be focusing on extended hand to big toe pose. So it's going to be a lot about hip openings. We'll start nice and gently and then we'll build our way up. There will be different kinds of peak poses throughout the entire sequence. So you can choose to modify, you can choose to take what you need. Again, this is your practice, so do what feels right for you. So to begin, we'll grab a block if you do have one handy, and we'll just place it underneath our tailbone. And just coming to sit into a Vajrasana-like pose. And we're going to start with a little bit of breath work today. So placing those hands to the hips, and you're going to look like a chicken. So what we're going to do, I'm going to demo to begin with. As you inhale, you're going to beam your chest forward. And as you exhale, you're going to draw your chin to chest. Inhale, beam that chest forward. And exhale, chin to chest. All right, let's move a little bit quicker. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Let's take 5 more. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. We have 2 more. Breathe in, breathe out. Last one. Inhale, exhale. Let go of the breath. Just allow the natural flow of breath to come back in through the nose. And sweep the arms up over the head. Hook the thumbs together and just point those fingertips towards the ceiling, getting a little bit more length within both sides of the body. And then as you exhale, release those hands down to the earth. All right, we're gonna make our way into Kapalabhati. Breath on fire. I knew I was going to stuff up a word today. I just had it, I felt it in my waters. Anyway, Kapalabhati. So we're going to raise our arms up to the sky. We're going to make a fist-like shape, so drawing those fingertips in towards our palms and then pointing those thumbs in towards the crown of our head. So the thumbs will come down. Yeah, awesome. And what Kapalabhati looks like is it's inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And you're basically going to pump the stomach at the same time. So I'm just going to demo here. As you breathe out, you're going to draw your navel towards your spine. So we're going to take 30 rounds. When you're ready, let's begin. Release the hands down and just allow the natural flow of breath to come back in through the nose, close down the eyes, and perhaps just noticing any of those subtle differences in the body. And breath of fire is really aimed at removing any of those lower vibrational energies that we might be carrying in our bodies and create a little bit of that heat, that tapas, that fire within us. So let's just take 2 more breaths here. Last breath. And flutter open the eyes. When you're ready, go ahead and remove that block to the side. And if you do have a strap handy, I would go ahead and invite you to grab a strap. You can also use a dressing gown tie. You can also use a towel, whatever works. But if you can get a strap or something like it, it's going to help you really open up through our hips. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to lie on our backs. And you're going to draw your right leg up towards the ceiling and get that strap and wrap it around the right foot. And you're just going to want to draw those elbows down towards the mat. So just a slight tug on that strap. We're not wanting to force here to begin with. Now bringing the awareness to that left foot and just flex through that left foot. So we're bringing a little bit of stability through that left leg. And now let's just take about 3 more breaths here. So feeling that beautiful juicy stretch through the back of our hamstrings. Just allowing the body to soften a little bit more if you are clenching anywhere. Let's take one more breath. And now let's bring both straps over into that right palm. Let's bring that left arm out into a T-like shape and then just begin to drop that right leg out over towards the right side. And so the goal is to keep the pelvis remained planted to the earth. So we're not wanting to lift up through that left hip bone, and continue to flex through both feet, making it an active pose. So you should start to feel a really juicy hip opener here through those hip flexors. Can you feel that, Court?
Oh yeah.
And let's stay here for another 2 breaths. One more breath. And on the next inhale, slowly draw that right foot back to center. And let's swap over to the opposite side. So bring that left leg up, wrap that strap around that left foot, and then extend that right leg long. And again, we're going to draw the elbows down towards the earth and just bring a slight tug to that strap, drawing that left toe towards the front of the mat. Keep flexing through that right foot. Let's take 3 breaths here. Again, being mindful not to force, but definitely feeling that sensation of the stretch. Let's take one more breath here. And then bring both straps over into that left palm. Draw that right arm out long into a T-like shape and then gently begin to drop that left leg out over to the left side. Again, making sure that those hips are still remaining squared to the mat, that we're not lifting up too much through that right hip bone, finding that sweet spot, and then taking 2 more breaths here. Let's take one more breath. And on the next inhale, draw that left foot back to center. Release that strap down to the side. We might be needing a little bit later on. And then hug those knees into the chest. You can bring the head up to meet the knees and take a little egg of the universe. Take 2 more breaths here. Last breath. And now we're going to take 3 rock and rolls up the length of our mat, ultimately landing in Navasana boat pose, firing up through that core. And once you arrive in your Navasana, you have a couple of options here. So you can wrap your hands around the backs of the knees for extra support. If you are a challenge seeker and you do like it spicy, you're going to extend those legs up towards the ceiling. Fingertips are reaching towards the front of the room. And we're going to bring our smile to our face because it's great to be alive today, my friends. We're going to take 3 more breaths here. And then we're going to make our way into something I like to call boat relay. Are you ready for it, Court?
Ready.
Let's take 1 more breath here. On the exhale, we're going to slowly lower all the way down, hovering about 1 inch off the mat. And then inhale, rise back up into your boat. You got 5 more of these. Let's go. Exhale to lower. Inhale to rise. Exhale to lower. Inhale to rise. 3 more yogis. You're doing awesome. Stay with that breath. I can feel all the little cracks and the crinkles happening through my body, shivering and shaking. Do we have 1 more? I've lost count. Come on back up to boat pose. And just because I'm feeling extra spicy, lower all the way down. Hover here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Sweet release. Take 1 breath, just pausing in your pentacle-like shape. And then hug the knees into the chest. 1 more time. And now crossing over at the ankles and rolling on up to your tabletop position. So however you want to get there, that wasn't as glamorous as I had imagined in my head. Pressing down through the palms of the hands, making sure the knees are hip width distance apart, spreading those fingertips wide. On the breath in, crown of the head rises, belly softens, opening through the chest. And as you exhale, draw your chin to chest. Dome through the back. Let's take about 3 more like this. Breathe in. Exhale to round through the spine. You might like to invite in some other movements for these last 2 breaths. Go ahead and do so. And the goal is to really move with breath here. So connecting that movement to how the body wants to flow. Making your way back to your tabletop position. Taking a moment to find that sense of stability, draw the navel up towards the spine. And we're just going to extend our right leg long behind you. Keep those toes pressing down into the mat. So drop those toes down to the earth court. Awesome. And we're just going to shift the weight back and forward to begin with. So again, just warming up through the back of the body, feeling that stretch through the back of the calf. This should feel nice and juicy for you, all that running you've been doing. Let's take 1 more. And then now we're going to begin to lift that right leg up. And once you have found stability, flex through that right foot and then begin to lift that left arm forward. So we're wanting to feel an even pull through both sides of the body. Inhale, find a little bit more length. And as you exhale, draw your knee to your elbow, tiger curl. Inhale, lengthen out. We've got 2 more like this. Exhale, tiger curl. Inhale to lengthen. Last one. Exhale, tiger curl. Inhale to lengthen. Now this time we get a little more spicy. Draw that right foot out over to the right and the left arm out over to the left. Pausing here for 3 breaths. So this is really going to challenge the stability. It's going to build a little bit of fire in the belly. And let's stay here for 1 more breath. And as you exhale, gently plant that right foot down and bring that left palm back to the earth and begin to bend through that right knee and just take a few circles through the hips. So this should feel really nice and juicy. And maybe taking 3 in one direction and then going in that opposite direction. And once you have taken your 3rd breath, coming back to stillness, gently lift that right leg back up and send it behind you. Bring that right knee to the earth and come back to your tabletop. Take a moment to readjust if you need. And stay for a breath. And now let's make our way to the opposite side. Extend that left leg long behind you. Again, pressing those toes down into the mat. Begin to shift the weight forward and backwards. So we should just be feeling a really great stretch through the back of our calf. Let's take 2 more here. Last one. Okay, coming back to center. Then begin to lift that left leg up, flexing through that left foot, ground down through that left palm, and perhaps extend that right arm forward. Take another deep breath in, lengthen, and as you exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to lengthen. Let's take 2 more. Exhale, elbow to knee. Last one. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale to lengthen. This time draw that left foot out over to the left. Right arm comes out over to the right. Let's pause here for 3 breaths. Whew, this one's a hard one. Let's take 1 more breath here. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, plant that left foot down. Bring that right arm back to the earth. Bend through that left leg and begin to get a little primal. Take your circles, your hip rolls, imagining that you're in the jungle. I don't know why we're imagining we're in the jungle, but let's just go with it. Yeah, maybe. And going back in the opposite direction. Things are getting weird, guys. They often do, don't they? All right, let's just take one more for good measure. And then gently come back to center. Lift that left leg up, draw it back behind you, and bring that left knee down. Tabletop. Okay, bring those hands slightly forward, tuck those toes under, downward facing dog. So maybe you would like to pedal out through the feet here. Really setting up for a nice juicy downward facing dog. So if that means you need to bend through both knees, shoot the tailbone high, go ahead and do so, release the heels down. And then just take one more breath to find stillness. Spreading fingertips wide. And on your next inhale, we will raise the right leg up to the sky. Toes will point down towards the mat. And as you exhale, you're going to draw your right knee to your right elbow. Tap it. Inhale back to three-legged dog. You know I love these. Right knee to left elbow. Tap, 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 taparoo. Inhale, rise back up to three-legged dog. Last one, right knee to nose. And then step forward, low lunge. Drop the back knee to the earth. Sweep those arms to the sky. Palms might like to touch overhead, and we're going to be here for 3 breaths. Let's take one more breath, breathing in. And as you exhale, frame that right foot. Now bring both palms to the center of the mat and set up for lizard pose. So walking that right foot out on the edge of the mat. And just staying up high for the first one, allowing that right knee to drop out to the right. Now if you want a little bit more fire, you can begin to lift that left leg up off the mat. And if you want even more, you can come on down to the forearms. So it's completely up to you what variation you take in this pose, listening to the bodies. And we'll be here for 3 breaths. Let's take one more breath here. And as you inhale, slowly come back up. Walk that right foot back to center. Step back to your high plank and just pause here for a moment. Nice flat back, navel's drawing towards the spine. Shoulders are stacked over the wrists. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, drop the knees, chest and chin. Inhale, push the body forward, baby cobra. Hug the elbows in, press the tops of feet into mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking a breath in your downward facing dog. As you inhale, sweep the left leg up to the sky. As you exhale, bend through that left knee. Left knee draws towards left elbow and touches. Inhale back to three-legged dog. Left knee to right elbow. Give it a little touch. Inhale back to three-legged dog. Left knee to nose. And step forward. Low lunge. Drop the back knee to the earth. Sweep the arms up to the sky. Maybe the palms touch. Maybe gaze comes up. And let's stay here for 3 breaths. One more breath. And as you exhale, frame that left foot. This time bring the left palm to the center of the mat and walk that left foot out on the edge of the mat. Coming up on the edge of the left foot, drawing that knee out wide. option to lift that right leg up. And if you want a little bit more, coming on down to your forearms. Let's take 3 breaths here, allowing the neck to become heavy. Let's take 1 more breath. And as you inhale, slowly rise back up. Walk that left foot back to your low lunge. Step back to your high plank. Pause here. And this time, if you want to make your way through your chaturanga, begin to hinge the body forward. Hug the elbows in, lower halfway down, low plank. Pause here. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's just take 3 breaths in a downward facing dog. Maybe even taking a lion's breath as we breathe in. Open the mouth, stick out the tongue. Take 1 more like that. Breathe in. Open the mouth, stick out the tongue. Awesome. Let's get flowing. As you inhale, raise that right leg up to the sky. As you exhale, tiger curl, knee to nose. Step that right foot forward. Bring that left foot parallel to the mat. Windmill those arms around, warrior 2. So take a moment to check in with your warrior 2 if you need to readjust, making sure that those hips are nice and open. Gaze is out over that right palm, feeling a beautiful energetic pull between the right and the left side of the body. Navel is drawing in towards the spine. Let's take a deep breath in. As we exhale, sink a little deeper. I'm going to be here for 2 more breaths. Last breath, breathe in. And as you exhale, side angle pose. Right elbow to right knee, sweep that left arm up overhead. Now, if you do want a little bit more fire, we're going to bring that right arm out in front of us, almost as though we're holding an imaginary ball of energy in our palms of our hands. Keep dialing that chest up towards the ceiling. Let's stay here for another 2 breaths, because why not? Breathe in and breathe out. Last one, inhale. And as you exhale, straighten that right leg, and we're going to make our way into Trikonasana. So that right palm will come down towards the mat, making sure that those shoulders are stacked on top of one another. If you do have a block handy, you are more than welcome to go ahead and grab it and place it on the outside of the right pinky toe. And it just helps a little bit with alignment. So opening through the chest. Let's stay here for 2 more breaths. Last breath. And if you do need a block, we are going to make our way into half moon. So what we'll do here is we'll begin to look down towards our right foot. If you do have that block handy, take it with you and gently place it about 20 centimeters out in front of that right pinky toe. Find that stability and then begin to open up through the body. Flexing through that left foot, shoulders are stacked. You've got this. We're here for 2 more breaths. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale. And as you exhale, bring that left foot to meet the right and come into your Utkatasana chair pose. 3 breaths here. Beaming that chest forward. Perhaps noticing that energetic difference between the right and the left side of the body. I know I can feel a difference. Take another deep breath in. As you exhale, sink a little deeper. With 1 more breath here. And as you exhale, forward fold, release. Inhale, take your halfway lift. As you exhale, plant the palms down, bend through the knees, option to step, hop or float back, high to low plank. Meet in downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths in your downward facing dog. Take a moment to readjust if you need. Last breath. Let's take it to the opposite side. As you inhale, sweep that left leg up to the sky. Exhale, left knee to nose, tiger curl. Step that left foot forward, bring that back foot parallel to the mat, windmill the arms around, warrior two. Again, take a moment to readjust, pull up your pants, do whatever you need to do. Gaze out over that left palm now. Feel that energetic pull between the right and the left palm. We're going to take 2 more breaths here. So trying to soften into the pose if you can. Breath is steady, mind is at ease. Last breath, breathe in. And as you exhale, left elbow to left knee, sweep that right arm up overhead, side angle pose. For those that want a little bit more spice, draw that left arm out in front of you. Imagine you're holding onto that energetic ball. Let's take 2 more breaths here. It's a tough one, I know, guys. God. 1 more breath, breathe in. And as you exhale, begin to straighten that front leg and make your way into Trikonasana. Again, option to grab that block if you do have it handy. Place on the outer edges of that left toe. And we're just going to make sure those shoulders are stacked on top of one another. Breath is steady. Gaze can come up towards that right palm. Let's take 1 more breath here. Look down towards that left foot now. If you do have your block, take it with you. We're making our way into our half moon. So find stability, which I did not just find then, and begin to kick that right leg up. Flexing. I know, half moon is a serious business. All right, gaze might even like to come up towards that right palm, flexing through that right foot. We're here for 2 more breaths. You've got this, yogis. Last breath. And as you exhale, step to the top of your mat and take your Utkatasana chair pose. 3 breaths here. Opening through the chest, navel draws towards the spine. Sink a little deeper if you can. Smile comes to face. 1 more breath. And as you exhale, forward fold, release. Inhale, take your halfway lift. And as you exhale, plant the palms down, bend through the knees, and maybe challenging yourself and jumping back to your low plank, hugging those elbows in. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Wow. All right, big toes touch, gaze looks forward. Maybe having a practice with jumping through. Look forward, bend through the knees, walk, step or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, take your halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, sweep the arms to the sky, palms touch. Exhale, hands through heart center, Samasthiti. And release, arms beside the body. Tadasana. Closing down the eyes. Allowing all that energy to settle. Coming back to the breath. Noticing any sensations, any emotions that are arising for you. It is all good, baby, baby. Let's just take 2 more breaths here. And gently flutter open the eyes. Grab your strap if you do have it handy. We are now going to make our way into the standing variation of extended hand to big toe pose. So we'll give you a couple of options with this. To begin with, I would recommend grabbing a strap. It just helps loosening up any tension that we're holding onto through the hips. So ground down through that left foot, coming up into a stork-like pose with that right foot, and then bringing the strap around the right foot. and extending that right leg out in front of you. Now, if that feels okay, you're going to bring both straps into that right hand and maybe the left palm comes to the left hip. Let's just take a moment here. And if that feels okay, begin to open up through the hips, keep flexing through the feet. Gaze is steady. Let's take 2 breaths here. One more breath. Slowly coming back to center. Just release the strap now. It'll just fall down to the earth. Re-bend through that right leg and maybe catch the big toe with the thumb and the index finger. Extend that leg forward. You've got this. And then once you've found your drishti, your focus point, extend that right leg out over to the right side. If that feels okay, maybe the left arm reaches up. Let's stay here for 2 more breaths. Last breath. And slowly coming back to center. Just release the hands, nothing else. Pause for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Shake it out. It is a toughie, but it's a good one. We like it. We like it. Okay, let's move it to the opposite side. So, grab your strap. We're going to ground down through the right foot this time, coming up into a stalk-like pose with that left foot. Take your strap, wrap it around the back of the left foot, extend that leg forward. Now, if that feels okay, bring both the straps into the left palm, bring that right hand to hip, and then perhaps begin to open up to the left side of the body. And so we're just going to hold here for a couple of breaths. Just opening up the hips in preparation. And on the next inhale, slowly come back to center. Release those straps. And maybe now bend through that left knee. And if you can, bring that index finger and the big, I was going to say wrap the big toe around the big toe, but that's not going to work. Wrap the thumb around the big toe and extend that left leg forward. If that feels okay, begin to open up out over towards the left side and then extend that right arm up. 2 breaths. Last breath. Slowly coming back to center. Release the hands, nothing else. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How are we feeling? Heart rate increased? I always get them feeling. Okay, so just come to stand at the top of your mat. Ground down again through the soles of the feet. Maybe just take a moment to wiggle and wobble, tapping down through the legs if you're feeling any tension. We're almost there, that's the good news. All right, bring the arms long beside the body. Let's take a deep breath in. Open up the mouth, exhale to release. Inhale, sweep the arms to the sky, palms touch. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Exhale, step or float back to high to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, inhale, wave the body forward. Come through to your high plank pose. You might want to shift that right hand towards the middle of the mat and drop that right knee down to the earth. We're just going to come into the modified side plank version to begin. Once you have this, begin to lift that left leg up and then maybe stack the left shoulder over the right. So find that stability. It can still be hard to balance here, so just noticing what your body needs. Now this is variation 1. If this is where you stay today, that is perfectly okay. Variation 2, slowly come back to your high plank. So bring that left hand down. Step that right foot to meet the left. Bring that right palm to the center of the mat and then come out onto the edge of that right foot. Stack that left foot on top of the right. Shoulders are stacking on top of one another. Keep pressing up. And if you want a little more spice, bend through that top leg, that left leg, hook the index finger and the thumb around the big toe and begin to open up. Let's stay here for 2 breaths. Breathe in, breathe out. Shaking is good. Inhale, and as you exhale, slowly release. Come back to your high plank, downward facing dog. It's a tough one. It certainly is a tough one. Let's take one more breath here. On your next inhale, wave the body forward. Come to your high plank. Shift that left palm to the center of the mat. Drop that left knee down to the earth and come to your modified side plank. We will begin here. Lift that right leg up, stack the shoulders, find that core stability, and stay here for one more breath. And maybe this is where you stay, and that is perfectly okay. For those that do want the little bit of extra, gently begin to lower that right foot down. Come on back to your high plank. Take a moment to reset up. Now bring that left hand to the center of the mat. Shift onto the blade edge of that left foot. Stack the right toe on top of the left. Perhaps begin to lift that right leg up. And if that feels okay, bending through that right knee, catching that big toe, and opening up through the hips. Stay for 2 more breaths. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale. As you exhale, slowly release. Come back to your high plank and downward facing dog. How are you feeling, Court?
You made it.
We're not quite there yet. Let's just take 2 more breaths to settle. Okay, let's go. Inhale, sweep the right leg up to the sky. As you exhale, tiger curl, knee to nose. Draw that right foot out over to the left, fallen triangle. Stack those shoulders on top of one another. Begin to kick that right leg up if you want a little bit extra. We're here for 2 breaths. Last breath. Slowly coming back to center, 3-legged dog. And then bring that right foot on the outer edges of the left side of the mat for wild thing. So pivoting around, balancing on that left arm, reaching those right fingertips forward, opening through the chest. 1 more breath. Slowly coming back to center. And downward facing dog. Might need to readjust those feet slightly. Take a deep breath in. Side out. Let's take it to the opposite side. Inhale, sweep the left leg to the sky. As you exhale, draw the left knee to nose. Shoot that left foot out over to the right, fallen triangle. Stacking those shoulders. Want a little more spice, lift that left leg up for 2 breaths. Slowly coming back to center, 3-legged dog. And make your way into your wild thing, drawing that left foot out over the right side of the mat. Sweeping that left arm up overhead. 2 breaths. Slowly coming back to center. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Drop the knees to the earth, Vidrasana. Place the hands to the thighs, close down the eyes. Connect back to breath. Find that sense of calm. Allow the heartbeat to settle. You're going to take 3 more breaths here. take one more breath together. And draw your arms up to the sky on the inhale. And as you exhale, your left palm will come to your right knee. And that right palm will just touch down behind you, gaze out over that right shoulder. Let's take 3 breaths here. Last breath. As you inhale, bring the arms back to sky. And as you exhale, right palm out over left knee, left palm down behind you, and gaze out over that left shoulder. 3 breaths. Inhale, come back to center, arms to sky. And exhale, release the arms long beside the body. Roll out over onto that left hip, extend both legs forward, making our way into our seated forward fold. So take a moment to readjust, coming onto those sit bones, straighten through the spine. And as you inhale, sweep the arms up to sky. And as you exhale, forward fold. Once you arrive, as you inhale, take a halfway lift, create that nice flat back. And exhale to fold. Taking 5 breaths here. Allow the head to become heavy. Allow the breath to soften. Let's take one more breath. And on your next inhale, slowly rise back up. Bring the arms back to sky. And exhale, release the hands by the side. Dandasana. Take a moment to pause here. And however you wish to get there, making your way to lie onto your back. And we're not quite done, but we're very, very close, I promise. Hug the knees into the chest. And just take a few moments to circle out through the lower spine, taking a few little circles in one direction. And then in the opposite direction. And then gently planting the feet down to the earth. We'll set up for a bridge pose, just one round. And you do have the option to take a supported bridge by placing a block underneath your tailbone, so whatever works. Just make sure those fingertips can touch the heels. And on your next breath in, draw your pelvis up to the sky. Knees are drawing towards each other, and maybe we draw the shoulders underneath and clasp our hands at the base of the spine. And chin is drawing towards the chest, gaze is drawing towards the navel, or perhaps the eyes are soft. And keep activating through those glutes. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Last breath. And slowly lower all the way down to the earth. And drop the knees into the center, the feet come out wide, palms to belly. Drawing that connection back to yourself. And taking a moment to tap in, tune in. Notice how your emotional landscape is going. How are you feeling? And then we'll hug the knees into the chest for one final time. Perhaps drawing the crown of the head towards the knees. And as you exhale, release all the way down onto the earth for your Shavasana. Allow the whole body to become heavy here. Allow the feet to melt out wide. Palms are facing up. Eyes are closed. Breath is steady. Giving yourself this time to receive your practice. And I will let you know when your time is up. If you do have the option to take a longer Shavasana, go ahead and do so. Otherwise, if you have places to be, people to see, begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bring a bit of energy back to the body. Deepening the breath. Perhaps drawing the hands overhead, elongating through the spine. That could feel really good. And then gently bending through the knees and rolling over to your favorite side. Taking a moment to pause here. And relish in these last few moments of practice. And slowly, with care, making your way up to a seated position, keeping those eyes closed if you can. And just planting the palms to the thighs as we settle. And just taking a moment to notice how you are feeling. And perhaps feeling this subtle sense of peace land through your body. Taking a moment to visualize something that you are grateful for today. And it doesn't have to be anything too elaborate. It can be a cup of coffee, it can be the sunrise, it can be a cuddle from a loved one or an animal. Just take a moment to send a little bit of gratitude to that thing. And we will bring our hands to our heart center in prayer. Press our thumbs into our sternum, bow our head forward, and we say Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks, Court.
Thank you, Shaz.
Thanks, guys. I hope you're feeling nourished, energized, revitalized, and we'll see you back on the mat soon.